Welcome back, kings and queens, and welcome if you're new here. My name is Hope King, and I'm the designer behind King's Designs MD. Today, I am just trying something new. I'm trying to see if I can make a purse on the fly. I really like this paper from Dollar Tree. This is their wallpaper, and I just decided, hey, let me see if I can make a purse with this. So, I'm not really using any measurements, because I'm going to make this work for what it is. This paper is 11 by 16. All I'm going to do is fold it in half. So this is the 11-inch size. So this is the 11-inch size, so it's 16 inches long. I'm going to fold it in half, which means I'm going to be starting with about an 8-inch purse base. I'm trying to say it slowly so I can say it clearly. So, sliding it down, and you can cut this with scissors. I'm going to run it through my paper trimmer. And I hope everything's on camera. I'm going with my overhead view. And that's something I've been experimenting with to try to make it work. So now I have two pieces. So they should be about 8 by 11-inch pieces. Let me see here. You guys see. All right. So 11 inches across, 8 inches up. Yep, 8 by 11-inch pieces. So this is going to be my front of my bag. This is going to be the back of my bag. I'm just going to use a regular white cardstock for the middle of my bag. Now again, I'm going to do this by going halfway over, so that's 5.5 inches. And you can fold this in half, or you can do like I'm doing and mark it, or cut it just like this. I'm not a person with a straight hand, so I can't just go up here and slice that. It would not work for me. But if that works for you, make it work and make it happen. So I'm just going to slice that. I'm supposed to be making my way over to Hobby Lobby tonight, so we're going to see if I'm going to end up with a new slicer tonight. Now we have two sheets, so these were going to be the front and the back. Now this would be my two sides. But if you've seen my other video, all I did was go from the 5.5-inch side, and I folded it in half. And then I just used my tool to help get those creases in there a little bit. Do the same with this one. Fold it in half. And get these creases in here. Now if you wanted to, you could do this whole thing with the paper. But I'm not doing that today. So these are going to be my side pieces. The next thing I need to do is to put my 1/2-inch lines on here. You could do this first, or you could do this now. It's up to you. Whatever works for you. That's my 1/2-inch line. And just try to line it up and make sure it's even. Now we want to do a 1/2 inch all the way around, so you can flip your cardstock all the way around if you want to, or you can just do 1/2 inch on that side and 5 inches on this side, because either way it would be 1/2 inch. So that one's done, and on this one, Now again, again, if you have a scoreboard, you can just do 1/2 inch scoring on this, you're done. So I'm going to finish scoring this and I'll be back. Alright, so I have all of my pieces marked, and I'm taking it to my scoring board just to score. If something's not lining up correctly, just try to even it out as much as you can at your scoreboard. Sometimes things aren't squared off and you have to correct it. That's human error. If you take these measurements, you can put them in your Cricut so you can have a more concise and consistent measurement to try to eliminate those problems. Sometimes I don't always want to pull out my Cricut, and other times I don't want to have the hassle of certain papers sticking to them and trying to pull them off and curling them up and all those things. So there's pros and cons to everything, and you just have to find what works best for you. So another thing is you can use double-sided tape if you choose to, but you can also use glue. Everybody has their own glue that they choose to use. I do plan on trying a new glue soon, but right now I just use my brush, and it works for me for what I need. So I'm just burnishing all of my lines back. Folding it back and burnishing it. This paper is 65-pound cardstock, so it's fairly thin. So, and you see it ripped. That's never happened to me before, but it ripped. So I'm going to redo this piece and come back. And you see how that just came right off. Alright, I'll redo this piece and come back. Okay, so I'm just finishing up. I redid this one. And I've done this a few times and I've never had cardstock rip on me. But I realized when I was scoring my cardstock that second time, if that's the way I scored it the first time, I was a little aggressive with my scoring. So I'm going to try to be a little gentler with this one and folding it back. The next thing you want to do is snip your corners. So I have my handy scissors here, and I'm just going to go in at an angle and snip them. And you just want to have it kind of look like that on the end. If you just go straight across, that's the easiest. If you get handy dandy and more advanced with your scissors, you can do a little bit more, a little bit fancier cuts. But right now, that's really all you need. And this probably should be the only other cuts you need for your paper. So, 2 front panels, 2 side panels. We're going to need a bottom panel, and we're going to need some straps. So, the bottom panel should be 11 by 4 and a half. I made that mistake before. So it's 11 inches across, and you should go up to the 4-inch line. If you mark it and cut it on the 4-inch line, that's the part that should be your bottom panel. If you want to put this on the inside for reinforcement, you can, but you would then have to pull out another sheet to have some handles. Try to keep my head out my videos, but I have to lean in to see. So, again, you should have a 4-inch side and a 4.5-inch side. The 4.5-inch side should be your bottom. The other 4-inch side should get you your straps. So if we want to go ahead and cut them now so we don't get ourselves confused again, meaning me getting myself confused, we would do that. So I need 2 1-inch straps, and I know when I put this on my cutter, it's going to give me 1-inch straps. I'll put it right here. That's 1 inch for me. So I now have two 1-inch straps. And then I'm going to just cut this in half so I can have reinforcement lines. Now, you can cut it in half the long ways or you can cut it in half the short way. When we place our straps, there is enough that you can put it the short way, but if you put it all the way across the long way, you have good reinforcement across the top of your bag. So now you want to cut it a lot more evenly than I did, but it is what it is. I'm going to work with it. I'm actually rushing because I need to go do something in a few minutes. And I just wanted to see if I could execute this really quickly. So I'm going to move my stuff to the side. Now I'm going to stick the wallpaper onto my paper. I'm going to try to get it as even as possible, but if I can't, that's kind of okay. And I'm going to show you why. Basically, I'm going to cut it down. This is 8 by, what did I say this was? 11 by 8. This is going to be 8.5 by 11. So you have a little wiggle room in terms of if you can't get it quite right. And I say a little wiggle room because this is your wrapping paper, wallpaper, whatever. Wallpaper, not wrapping paper. So it's sticky. But the cool part is, if you cut it like this, the measurements leave it exactly, so this is your score line. So if we're making this the same size as the original bag template I showed you, all you have to do is score right here where it stops, and you're all set. Now I'm going to do the other one and come back. Alright, now I have my two pieces. Now when I originally looked at doing this project, it's slightly off here, but I'm good with that. When I originally looked at doing this project, I was actually going to cut my bag down to whatever size this fits. But because I got it to the 8.5 by 11 inch paper, and I'm going to score it on that 1/2 inch mark, it's essentially going to end up being the same size as the original bag that I did. So by the time you get done, you're going to have a, 8.5, excuse me, yeah, and no, 8 inch by 11 should be your finished portion when you're done. And just try to square this up as evenly as possible because, like I said, I placed this slightly off. I'd rather try to get it right on over here. So see, it's slightly off at the bottom, if you can tell. So there. Now I get a little more even scoring here. And I'm just folding it down. So again, that's going to be the front of the bag. The second one I'm folding down is going to be the back of the bag. I still have my two sides. I'm leaving those plain white. My reinforcement pieces, my straps, and my bottom. So now I want to put the bag together. So what I did before, and the easiest way to do it in my opinion, is to do the front and the sides, and then the back and the other side. Front side, back side. You can do it whatever works for you, but that seems to be the easiest way that works for me. Again, you can use any type of tape that you have. If you have a tape that works for you, use that. If you don't, whatever type of glue that ends up working best for you, you can use that. This is my Podge. It usually doesn't come in this bottle, with this tip rather. This is something that I put on from something that I got from Hobby Lobby. And my bottle is starting to gunk up, so bear with me. Alright, I got one piece down. I'm working on my next piece. That's the broken piece. Next piece. And you you want to try to line up the bottoms. If anything is off, go with your bottom being lined up, because that's where your score lines match up. And you can always trim off the top if there's too much excessive paper at the top, cardstock. So just keep doing it. Just slide it back into place if it moves. Whenever I do that, it's always a reminder to me that this is why I like using glue, wet glue, instead of double-sided tape. Wet glue is a little more forgiving in terms of being able to move your project around if you need to. So just getting this in place. So now I'm on the back side of the bag, again lining up my bottom because I can alter the top if there's any issue. And just smoothing it into place. And I've been using a tissue or paper towel just to make sure things stay in place. I said to make sure things stay in place, but to make sure if any glue seeps out, you can catch it. No particular brand of paper towel, but I tend to buy, or we tend to buy, Sam's Club paper towels. And that is like my family's favorite whenever we actually can keep them in stock. So now I have my sides together, front and back, and I like to bend it because where you scored it, it can bend in. This piece is moving on because it's not dry yet, it's not set. Let it set before you start moving it around too much like I am. And if anything is not sticking, go back in with your glue and just make sure it sticks and adheres. But if you keep it steady and don't move it before it's ready, you should be fine. Now, one thing I didn't say to do earlier, but you can do it now, is snip off any corners. So you could have mitered your corners earlier, but if you didn't do that, just snip them off as you go around, and that's just cutting it on an angle at the bottom of your bag. So now they kind of sit a little more evenly. Now I am taking my 4.5 inch piece and just gluing it on. You can do top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever works better for you. But just getting glue on all of these pieces. And try not to be messy like me. And once you flip it over, place it down if that's the way you want to do it. You just even it out. And I like to use a ruler to get down into my bag. Getting my corners in there. Get my bag placed exactly where it needs to be. And down this part. Did I do this again? The last couple of times I keep putting the wrong bottom on my bag. That's okay. If you do like I do, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So if you put the bottom of your bag that's too big, it's okay. It ain't the end of the world. Because you can trim it off. So just get in there and squish it down. Alright, so I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I have my straps, and I'm going to show you on the second one how to do your straps since you didn't catch it on the first one. I like to mark 3.5 inches and 7 inches. I put glue at the 1/2 inch mark, and I get my strap into place. And then I put my scraper tool on there. You can use your fingers or your scraper tool. And just make sure that it's adhered down really well. You have to, in my opinion, you have to make sure one side is done before the other, because one side puts tension on the other side of the strap. So when you have it, you just use your scoring tool and you curl it like you would a party ribbon. You get it down on your thing, scoring board or mark, whatever. 3.5 inches and 7 inches. And then you get your glue on there at the 1/2 inch mark. And you wiggle it around, get it into place. You can use your finger, your scoring tool, whatever you need to. And burnish that down. And just making sure it's good and set. Then you want to, once that's set, go in on the other side and move that into place on the 7 inch mark. Now, if for some reason anything's lifted up, just go back in, re-glue it, re-tape it. We do have the reinforcement pieces. That's what you saw me cut before. I just put glue on the reinforcement pieces, and they're cut at the 11 inch length. So it should be about 11 by 1 inches. Just be careful putting it in there because I just got some glue on mine. And just move it to the tippy top part of your bag. So you see that here, and you just let that rest. That gives you good reinforcement over your straps. Only thing I would recommend here is that you make sure it doesn't stick out above the top edge of your bag. But at 1 inch, that gives you a good hold on your bag. Now I cut this one a little bit smaller, accidentally, but it's all good because I'm still going to use it. And so I'm just going to get it in there and just let that go over my strap and burnish that down. And again, that's just good support for your bag. So once you've done that, you should be all done and your bag is ready to go. So I hope this helps somebody. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and you guys have a good day.